Yasmin, our queen of the era, thank you very much for gifting 5 tier 1
Ladies and
subs.
gentlemen of the Assault Universe,
LFF
the following
US
program
champion,
is scheduled
Pat
for
Pete,
one
SRT
fall. This
Franchise
is
Slade,
Cult
Nick
of
Nimble,
the Universe.
Captain Pete, and DMD Adventures. Yes, thank you very much. And Valorant giving out a free tier 1 sub. Wow.
Giving away 5.
And 5 from Mr. Rumble, Sinister, Mitch for this account, Wolfgang the Creator, PWP Red Dog, Lobster Harmonica, and Zombie Beast. Thank you very much. TBG, your 2025 World Champion, just subscribed. We are at level 4 already, hype train, with less than 2 minutes to get the show going. Oh boy.
Brian Schmidt was so happy about this that he owes 1,000 bits before he turned his audio on. So thankfully he forgot to have his audio on. He already
My
had
audio was on. God. Can we not talk about that, please?
Oh no, you gotta pay that fine.
I already did, Pat. Shut
all right,
up.
listen. All right, so Brian, as a compromise, you can just personally pay me half of the money, and then I'll forget about it.
Then tell your roommate to stay away from my son.
No.
Okay. Then we're at an impasse.
Do you realize how that sounded?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. It's not the worst thing I've said in the last week. Anyway, Talking News starts in about a minute and a half. We'll see you guys in a few for our American champion, our U.S. champion, to start 45 minutes.
American champion, okay.
this is massive sensitivity.
Yeah. I guess I failed.
I'm
See you
calling
guys in a
Jonathan
minute.
on Korea, getting you.
Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen of the SRG universe, the following program is scheduled for one fall. This is Talk of the Universe.
Oh, hey, man. We are live here. First week of 2025. We got a lot of huge announcements. Grand Gathering 5 live right now. There's a limited edition run set up by the LEO, aka the Law. First 50 people get a bonus character upon sign up. So if that's something that interests you, I will tell you guys, folks, it is possible that all 50 go tonight. You have the boss's word that I will make it. I will do everything in my power if we go over 50 tonight to get you guys a character. If you do miss that cut. Tonight only, okay? I'm going to call the LEO. I'm going to tell them that's the only thing. I think that's fair, okay? A one-day special. If we hit that 50 sales goal right now on today, you'll be safe. If not, then it's the first 50. Okay. Without further ado, I am one of your hosts, the SRGBLSS. Joining me, Mr. Thursday Night, the host of Thursday Night Fights, Mr. Chibi. Also, we have the arbiter of the LFF Super Show Dojo, Mr. Jeremy Steigerwald, aka Practice Site, up in the moon somewhere, my personal consigliere, your old school champion,
That's right,
Mr.
baby.
Brian Wait for It Schmidt.
Get out of the moon.
We will also be hearing from, speaking of old school, we're talking about the oldest of schools here, the oldest living member of the LFF Hall of Fame, Mr. Patrick Mulligan, who has a major announcement regarding the 2024.5 CCC. And I think we're going to kick the show off with that announcement right now before we get into the weekend review.
Pat, the floor is yours.
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As you said, the oldest living member of the Hall of Fame, Pat Mulligan, with today's CCC. I am giving the final 6 contestants, the Misfit, JAC, Mr. Rumble, the Game Master, Rambo Apocalypse, and Llama Black, the following task. You are going to have 2 weeks until the 15th. If you think about it, Sweet Chin Music, Scorpion Death Drop, Can You Smell What the Rock's Cooking, Godhead? You know who the wrestler is just because of those words. So you guys have to use your cut promos for the next 2 weeks, using your finishers and your catchphrases to get you over. The community will then cut down from these 6 to a final 3, and we're going to have our first ever triad final for the CCC. So good luck, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.
Thank you, Pat, for that. I can't wait to hear what kind of catchphrases and what finisher names come out of this. I hope everyone's ready.
Offbeat shenanigans will occur.
Well, hopefully not just rehashing of everyone else's stuff that's already out. Yes, because everyone takes that's right.
What's
baby,
the
and stuff like
deadline?
that.
I'm taking a note here on that. January 15th. All right. I think that's fair. Great call from Mr. Patrick Mulligan. It's going to start heating up here, folks. We got those 6 arts done. 3 more are going to come out of this round. So let's see who comes through on that. It's going to be pretty exciting.
So let's go ahead and kick off this first Talk of the Universe of the year the way we always do with the 3 Ps.
Oh, I mean, we could also be picking people.
Well, what else did you want to do?
2025, the year of the sea, folks. Okay, we already got 2 championships. Let's go,
The year of the
man.
sea.
Okay.
Are you looking forward to Captain Con and the new pirates?
First up, we got our photo of the week. You've heard of. I feel like I saw this photo a week ago. This should have been on the Christmas episode. I know.
This is our photo of the week. This is a lovely photo. Wow, man.
Lovely photo,
We had
but
a
it feels like
beautiful
it's
photo of brother
2 weeks
Dan,
then.
too. I thought, oh man, Let's see that. Let's show that. That's the drip god
Exactly.
right
Thank you, Bombada. I thought I was going crazy there. I know we didn't have but we're doing it for 2 weeks now, I guess. Okay.
That's the joke. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, here we
Let's
go.
see.
Those are some very young, what is it? Handsome and smart and
Smart
financially
is-
stable tag champions.
Ish.
Oh, bury him already, Steve. Ish.
Smart, intellectually smart. I mean,
Well,
definitely young.
they won
definitely
the
financially
titles,
stable.
so
Yeah, I
obviously
guess
they
so.
have to be a little smart. You don't just get to randomly win a title. You have to think about stuff. I mean, most people do.
That is true. You have to be
We're
pretty
gonna
high
talk about
level
some titles
intelligence
that get
to come down
won.
with a title type. So yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. What else we got here on this piece? It's got a
Promo
name,
of the
right?
week. And
American.
why are you saying that it's an American promo?
Good evening, America. Good evening,
All
LFF.
right, folks,
It's
I'll give it, 'cause
Alexander
this was
Slamilton here
fantastic.
on this beautiful winter evening. I hope you folks had a nice holiday with your family and friends. But you know what's nice as this holiday and this evening is, there's something really dark looming on the horizon come Sunday night. Mr. Ebenezer Resk and Candyman face off for the United States title. Now, Ebenezer's out here selling a version of America that nobody wants. You know, Steve Rest's version of America is all about oppression. You know, Steve Rest wants to keep you from having your captains. You know, he won't print more. He's saying that he can't. You know, that's not true. He only wants the elite to have them. You know, Steve Rest is out here denying us our right to the 69th Amendment of having ETU every week. He does it as he pleases. And Steve Rest is out here trying to suppress the opinions and the voice of Candy Shop Talk. Yeah, that's the America that I want. No, thank you, Ebenezer Resk. You want a diss track? You want a song? Well, I got a little song for you, Mr. Resk. And here's how it goes. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget that Steve Resk always screws me, 'cause he gives me American cards as stops or skill requirements I can't use. So the next time you face Candyman, my hope is that you lose. God bless America. God bless the LFF, and God bless our United States champion, Candyman. Have a great
Okay. Who picked this one for promo of the week?
night.
Seriously.
The guy's got some pipes on him. We got to give him that. Okay. We got to give him that. Listen, it is 8:40 p.m. on the Eastern Soundboard. Grand Gathering 5 tickets have been live for 10 minutes. And if you had the website lasting longer than Candyman in the title match on your bingo card, man, you're getting paid, because nobody saw this one coming here, folks. The website's still going strong right now. And I'm getting word there's another promo of the week. Let's see what we got here. What is this? I'm confused. Is this the one? In the future, grammar goes out the window.
That's a 9, 10, 11.
That's fine. I'm fine. I can still, you know who I am.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
5,
1,
7,
2,
5.
3. World champ.
2025 is here. And that means one thing, you see, because I've been holding on to something for 3 years now. Dick Thunderlips said I couldn't bring it back from 2022. Well, guess what, folks? I am the 2025 World Heavyweight Champion. Acknowledge me. Now you can put some respect on that.
I don't think that belt is from our timeline.
Dr. Dick Thunderlips has not steered me wrong with his recommendations for Diagra and Foresight, but this is bizarre. All right. I mean, they're meddling with things that I don't think they should be meddling with. And splicing timelines and different realities, man, this is, again, bizarre is the word I'd like to use. But if you've ever been in the room with Mr. Thunderlips, we've spent, quite a few afternoons in Astoria, New York, when he was a New York native, back in the day when he was part of the tri-state. You would get pretty acclimated that his brilliance comes through, and if anybody could pull off time travel, and it's him. So I'm not going to discredit any of this, knowing that I've known Mr. Thunderlips personally. But again, just very truly, truly bizarre. We heard whispers of this back in 2020. 5 years later, it looks like it's coming to fruition. This is wild, wild stuff.
I would just like to point out that I live with an idiot luchador who runs through timelines all the time. I am 100% already done with time incursions happening randomly around me. I don't want another one. So our world champion should probably deal with this. And she very well might.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We know the big guy knows better than to take aim at the most dominant champion in the LFF. That would be Slade Holiday as your triad champion. So I don't know. Maybe Dr. Dick Thunderlips had the foresight to know you don't mess with Slade, man. You get the steel chains and the hammers if you go that route. But putting a bullseye on Yaz Queen, this is dangerous territory to be working. That might be even worse than time travel, messing with the Queen right now.
All right, what do we got for post of the week? Because all right. As we wrap up this year, drop your favorite 2024 moments and or picks in the comments. We got a Simon Davner promo.
This was really great to read. I have to say, I really appreciate Yaz spreading the positivity. One of the reasons she might be the greatest world champion of all time, surpassing the GRUMP, the Grump Danny Thunder. Just again, backing it up in the ring, backing it up on the table, spreading positivity at the end of the year and throughout the whole year. This was an amazing post. And to be able to scroll through this and see so many awesome photos and some
we also see
recaps.
Deck of the Week over here by Steve Resk in the messages. We have the triple handshake of doom over here, Yasmin and Loudmouth and GM Calais. I remember when that picture was taken at GG.
What about me and the champ, Triad champ? That was a good one. Look at those two handsome guys.
We got all the champions,
the most dominant people in the LFF.
Grand Gathering. We have a very scary looking. Which one's that one? The Wendigo.
The elusive Wendigo.
Soon to maybe make it to the Grand Machine Studios. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean the Wendigo not showing up and Santa Calais coming up. We had to do like a reverse on the plan here, But who knows if the Wendigo is even real at this point? Big Guy's the world champ. Who knows what's up and down, left or right?
3 luchadors in the trench coats. Yep.
Comment of the week. I think we scrolled past it. We're in here still. No, right there. So let's do it while we're here.
Finding this game and its amazing people, especially the meeple, winning a raffle to show up on Candy Shop Talk. obliterating the influencer multiple times. CAC finals in my first ever tourney. Looking forward to more in 2025. That comment
Love
coming
Dave.
from
I mean,
David.
what an amazing person to join the community as a whole. Love the words there, Ref Dave. Everything you bring has been amazing. Runner up in your first ever major tournament, CAC. Amazing promo work. You know, you are still a little bit naive. He hasn't realized that winning a spot on Candy Shop Talk is kind of like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and then getting explosive diarrhea by the end of the night. Not really a prize that you want. Might feel good at first, you know, but overall not great for the whole body. But again, great job here. Love that comment there.
Takeover. Candyman shenanigans.
This is the best part of Super Show, man. I mean, I love this
Super
game.
Show After Dark. I don't know why.
We've been
someone
10
took a
years
picture
in,
of
and
that
I
one.
still play this game as the person who makes it and works with the community on card ideas. And I still love this game as much as I did now, probably even more so than I did 10 years, as it's just gotten so deep and, you know, so many layers of strategy and competition and just creativity. But to me, nothing will ever surpass looking at those sort of posts of, you know, how much people have gotten together and enjoyed the community, and it really is something special to me. You know, it keeps me going more than anything.
Yeah.
I see free event, which is Eclipse, man. What are we waiting for next year to tell me when we're gonna give it out a free event? All right, so we gotta have a free event listed next weekend.
Next Monday? Okay. Free for all, free event.
I was thinking, I mean, this is a little boss's ADHD popping around, but I was thinking for the next Boss Roddy Beatdown, which I'd love to do, doing the first ever Tornado Boss Roddy Beatdown, because I've been really enjoying Tornado format. It's never been done before.
Gosh.
So I think it'd be kind of cool. Tornado with
Sounds
4
crazy.
entrance cards.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and go into number 8.
9. Oh. Wow. Evil Ed.
How did it go up 2?
Evil Ed is so good at everything. He's just getting double value for all he does, man. We love that guy.
Where did he give the 900th?
Because cheese is delicious, and so you just always round up.
Apparently so. Free event should be Grand Gathering 5. Campo Canny. No.
Don't forget about the grandfathering in May. That'd be a digital Grand Gathering. That's going down.
All right.
That's going to be awesome.
Our weekend review, are we going to be going 2 weeks back, or are we just starting from this week?
We weren't here last week?
We weren't. Because last week was Christmas. Well, I mean,
Let's leave 2024 in 2024 and keep rolling forward.
So we're not talking about any of the events that happened last.
You want to do them quick? You got them? You got them locked and loaded?
Well, I mean, I had my last Thursday night of the year, the Claim the Throne.
That's a big one. Let's do that.
Where we had a good showing of 4 people that were brave enough to claim the throne or try to. And the person that took the that got knocked off was Tim White as the Flame Fighter. 2 others in the match were Simon Devner as Loudmouth Leo Larynx and Danchi as the Screaming Danchi. And the one who stood tall in the last Thursday night of 2024, Mr. Colby Cram as Chris Bay.
Chris Bay, man. What an amazing talent, top to bottom. And then having an amazing Super Show talent in Kobe Cram. Some calling him the chosen one, representing him end in 2024. Truly, truly awesome. How prepared for Claim the Throne would you say that these decks were?
Not at all.
And that's the best. And I mean that. You know, when Claim
I think
the
there
Throne
was one ladder in entirety of everyone's deck.
When Claim the Throne was built, just to give you a little bit of history, it was built as like a cube draft format. So there were certain things that were put in and certain things that were omitted specifically for the stip. And just like all
3
stips,
ladders, okay.
If you could kind of play towards the stip, you could always give yourself big advantages. But I love surprise stipulations because an unprepared Claim the Throne could get wild. You don't got to really worry too much about, you know, pumping 11s to 12s and things like that.
Well, I mean, it was also a little crazier because we did use the bump in rule for it.
Yeah, how'd
Out
that
of
go?
everything, oh, it went amazing.
Yep, it's been one of the most well received changes that we've ever done.
Also,
I'm really excited for
the
that.
no assisting on breakout rolls also made it much
Huge,
quicker
right?
too. Yeah, no, I like the changes to multiplayer. I don't know if we're gonna go officially forward with all of them, but it's
So
definitely been an interesting
we had
week
a
of
brand
testing
new
them.
group of 4 players playing over at Rip and Chip Arena, which has been very exciting.
Mhm.
And 3 of them were playing multiplayer the whole night. And they were playing out of just mystery boxes and stuff. So it was really awesome to see that, like new players playing Super Show in its most pure form. And they tried Triple Threat and they really liked it. We're going to teach them tag, but we didn't have time. But when I explained to them, like, Fatal 4-Way originally was this way, and now we've changed like Fatal 4-Way and beyond to bumping in, they thought that that was like amazing way to play where like multiple people could get turns. And to see like the excitement on someone who's never done it before in real time was really cool to see, and it really made me feel like we made the right decision in moving towards that. And if people are wondering, Captain Con will have a bump in one. The Long Island Tabletop Convention will have a bump in one leading up to the bump in one at the Grand Gathering.
Nice. Alrighty. And after that, we had the final Sunday night fights of the year, starting off with Drew Matson versus John Press 1P for the Underworld title.
Man, when this match got set up, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chibi, but I just wanted to say that I made a post in the discussion group that I met when I said, you are going to see an epic battle, 2 of the greatest minds, very well crafted decks going toe to toe in your Underworld match. That is not what we're going to see later on in the United States title match. No disrespect to my opponent. I mean, leaning towards me and my strategizing. And this match delivered on all fronts. As I'll give you a little chance to talk about it. I'll say what I have to say on that, but it was truly a masterclass to watch.
We had Drew and John, both of them know each other quite well. They've worked together. They've worked, and in this one, they worked against each other. We had finish grapple from Drew Matson at crowd meter 2. And John P playing as the pulverizer, discarding the maximum amount to get the +4 to the finisher or to the breakout roll. And he was one short.
I mean, P came out first, right? This was fantastic. Right away went with the finish strike. I know P was in that sort of mental chess match that him and Drew and everybody's so good at. Do I take it out for a different one? Stuck with the finish strike, hit it early after a press slam, which I think press slam is always an incredible card as a challenger. You send them to the heavens, and it's a huge turning point in the whole matchup. And that's exactly what happened. P jumped ahead early. We saw some crucial cards. I know Press 1P is very, very set in his ways. He's very smart. He had a plan. It was working very well. But when I had spoken to the player of the era, who I do consult with as much as I can, when I need help, which is a lot, mentioned cards like Eternal Constriction and things that Drew had in his deck. These cards are hard to pack because you're going to lose so many things, such as your major recursion cards like Lariats or Chop Block the back of the knee, right? But shutting off your opponent's gimmick is so crucial that's why these are such like a huge swing. I mean, we saw P use a Stop Any on it. And then, one of the other things I noted, at one point Drew had about 4 or 5 leads in play. Those new leads from Grand Pack Wave 2, they could be difference makers in matchups like this. These long games, you shut the gimmicks off. But at the end of the day, Press 1P takes a rough beat where the only way he's not out of this is if he hits that 1 in 3 chance, right? He needs a 5 or a 6.
It was 50-50. Yeah.
I think it was a little lower. I mean, I could be wrong. I think that he could have went, 5 to a 9 or 6 to a 10 were the 2 losses, and 7 to an 11 would have broke him out. But then,
so yeah, 6
you
and 5,
take those, man. You take those against the pulverizer. It's like if it wasn't for that variance, it'd be nearly unstoppable. But Drew Matson with Mimic, character he made super famous this year, last year rather, It was nothing short of, I think, what people expected out of a match, and truly shocking ending if you ask me. Putting in the pulverizer down with an 11. So fantastic job for Drew. Drew is obviously one of the futures of this game, right? Relatively new compared to a player of the era who's been here from day one. Not saying that P's losing any steps and he's the past, because by no means is John Pulver the past in this game. I think he proved it with his 2024 run. But I think Drew Matson really kind of solidified himself as one of the greats with that victory. Truly awesome match opener, which set up to the match later in that night.
Yes.
Right,
the final match for Sunday Night Fights was for the LFF United States title match. Your reigning champion, Miss Candy Ma'am, versus Steve Rest. Steve bringing out some high water action.
4 out of 10. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Let's get the ranking up there. He was rated a 4 out of 10. Second place in the CAC. I want to quote Mr. Drew Matson on this, because Drew Matson, great mind, great deck builder, spoke to me one day and he told me that he had a fever dream about Spencer Vance, and that gave me an idea for this matchup. And I had my deck list set the whole week. I was ready to go. I had my classic high water deck, couple little minute changes. Late into the night before the event, the hot sweats coming in from a weekend of ear infections, listening to the Candy Ma'am's music, chills running up and down the spines, and it hit me. Sunday Night Fights, we're about to get turned up here. We're going to turn up the tables in this matchup. They called me crazy in the booth. Player of the era told me I was nuts. Everybody said it. You know what? But Brian Wayford Schmidt, the Consigliere to the BLWS, told me to do it. Go for it. And I figured, when I'm going up against somebody like the Candy Man, who's had such an impressive run, I think there was a time where it was okay to overlook the Candy Man. Those days are gone. She solidified herself as a great player here. Under the tutelage of the TVA and the Constellation, I knew she was going to be super prepared for this matchup. And I didn't get to see her deck list, but I think part of her preparation showed in the early stages of the match when she did not search for the All-American headlock. Might have suspected a spinning thrust kick. So she was ready for this fight. I felt walking in here, I needed the element of surprise. I couldn't go with the expected. I had to come in super boss fashion, go super aggressive. I jumped the bell to kick this match off. Todd Brooks, like a fool, restarts the match when you guys all saw her open up with a strike. So my element of surprise is a little bit thwarted, but not enough. I was able to keep the Candyman off her game by not going in with the obvious choices. If I had to guess, Angela and the TVA would speak to her and say, submissions is your plan of attack. So I had to kind of steer away from that and do something a little bit different. You've seen the match. From the booth, what was going through your mind? Because I was so amped up in this matchup.
From what I saw a lot of very hot dice on one side and very little, very cold dice on the other side for a majority of the match.
You're watching a different game, folks, because her dice were red hot, but mine were just a little bit hotter because we're doing a little chain wrestling, paying big dimes over here. I mean, most of these term rolls seems to be 9s to 10s, 10s to 11. I think it was a rocking and rolling on both fronts, but it was just those little edges that really paid off. We know why you tuned in this week. There's tons of spoilers, but that's all secondary to your deck of the week. So we will try to dive into that in detail. We guys know you want to know every single card choice I made going into that matchup and why they were made. So we're going to make sure we flesh that out for you. But nonetheless,
you saw Meter 1, finish
turned
grapple.
up the tables, man. Into a knockdown the table, I went knocked down the table, which was stopped, I believe. Then it was 420 to Yuma, and then the DDTHC was able to seal the deal here.
Crowd Meter 1, 9 to an 11.
That's those aggressive choices.
All she wrote, your winner and new United States champion, the SRG BOSS.
One of the best feuds I've had in a while. This has resurfaced time and time again with the Candyman. You know, we had a tag team rivalry back in the day where it's Red Hat, Blue Hat versus her and her tag team partner for the Tri-State Championships. We've had the Boss and Candyman scrapping for years on out. We've had Candy Shop Talk versus Talk of the Universe. And then all of this culminated into what I thought was a fantastic end to 2024. Again, I did not underestimate the Candyman for not 1 second in that matchup. And I felt that the element of surprise is all that I had going for me on this one. And sometimes those big risks pay off, folks, but I was not expecting to walk out of that as the United States champion over somebody as great as Candyman. But nonetheless, promises were kept by the SRG BOSS. And as your representative of the United States in this great nation, I promised you some wonderful things. We're going to make peace with everybody here in the community. You know what? I could have held Todd Brooks, who tried to screw me over. I could have held his creation for Grand PAX Wave 2 to the final week of spoilers. But I'm going to spoil that tonight, as soon as possible, right after we give you what you're here for, and that is your deck of the week.
Whoa.
Immediately following this, they want it now. You're right. We'll make
we
it
can
little
review.
just a little bit more, just the messages
Monday night
right now.
fights.
If you look at this is just, please, boss, tell me your deck tech. Please.
Usually
I just need to see it. It won't stop, and I want to please the people.
Steve,
here
usually you go, why in
the
the world are you DMing me in the middle of Talk of the Universe? And you tell them not to talk
it's
to you
futile
again.
at this point. I mean, just
All right, so everybody right now, simultaneously DM Boss for your his deck tech.
There we go.
They're already doing it. That's what I'm
And
telling
while they're
you.
doing that, we'll go over Monday Night Fights. Our top 4 for that one.
Just keeps flying. I got to put it face down. You'll get it, guys. You'll get the spoilers from the deck. I promise.
Yeah. Ricky Wright as Master Strategist, Zach Ashley as Paulie V1, Yasmin showing up for the last match of the year as Rockstar Joey Sins, and first place, Simon Davner as Loudmouth Leo. Good
I'm just
showing
excited
there.
Somebody stopped Chris Pate, because if he didn't stop, we're just going to get Master Micro week in and week out.
I mean, we're still going to get him week in and week out until he.
Once in a while, when he chops
really
him back,
good.
he puts some. He is very good. He is a very good character.
All right. Then we had Dojo last night, hosted not on any channel, and the only person to win was the house, which was Slamilton.
Another one.
Slamilton.
I got to close out the window here.
And Slamilton also won the last match of 2024, which was for the Walton County Triad Championship. As Robbie G using Slamilton won the title from me at like 11:30 p.m.
Sheesh.
What a day for Slamilton.
Yes. All right. That brings us to Locals Report, which. All right, we're ready to roll it.
LFF Universe, this is Practice Site Jeremy Steigerwald with your first Locals Report of 2025. That means it's time to get the Christmas stuff out of here and get back to business in the LFF. Let's talk about the last few locals of 2024. We're going to start it off in the Rust Belt. North Olmsted, Ohio was the site, and we had a top 4 in a global division tournament. That's right. So Global GM, take notes, as we had another locals global tournament. 3 people finishing tied second through fourth. They are as follows: the Trash Man using the Rockstar Joey Sins, Matt Pineapple using Kenny Omega, and the Lethal Endorser Joe Gilchrist using Jake Christ. They all came close, but taking it down in the end, undefeated, it was the dude, Sean Steiner, as version 2 Jordan Oliver. So congratulations to Sean. This win propelled him into a shot at the Rust Belt X title. Matt Pineapple using himself, defending the Rust Belt title against the dude, Crowd Meter 2, and we have a new Rust Belt X champion. What a night for Sean Steiner. Jordan Oliver version 2, undefeated in the tournament, and also now the Rust Belt X champion. And noted here, on January the 1st, which may or may not be oh, it's today. Look at that. We celebrate the 46th anniversary of the birth of one of the greatest LFF competitors. It says here, soon to be new LFF champions. It's in the locals report, so then perhaps that is true. The PAX Unplugged champion, Matt Pineapple Nealon. So raise a pina colada to the pineapple. If I had a pina colada right now, I would be raising it to the pineapple. Happy birthday, Matt. And let's go on to Rip and Ship Arena, Long Island, New York. 2 people sent in the report and gave me complimentary information, so that's a good thing. We had a tournament and a top 4 as follows. Some special guests on the evening, and some of them placed highly in the tournament. So in 4th place, we've got Google Docs Dan as the 10th anniversary version of El Super Hombre. Great gimmick on that one. In 3rd place, one of their guests, it was Mr. Poppin' Twist himself, showing up and playing as Mr. Poppin' Twist, as he does. Great always to see him in attendance. He finished 3rd. Also great to see Matty Bar 1. He finished 2nd using Dastardly Dick Thunderlips. Matt just falling short of 1st place. Your winner on the evening, it was Press 1P. John Paul Verino as Scott Prime. Scott Prime really nasty with some recent cards that came out, and always one of the toughest players in the game. John Paul Verino, a combination that took it down at Rip and Ship. Couple other notes I have here. They had a table full of people who are just going to start the game. They were building decks, hanging out with people, so that's a really good sign for Rip and Ship. Looks like they got some new blood coming in. And next week, the first locals of the new year, there's going to be a triad match to determine the Long Island Heavyweight Championship, as it will be defended by John Paul Verino using the Master Chef, defending champion, but he will be challenged by both the Sundown Moon and the New York Phenom at the same time. So we will see how that plays out next week. And last but not least, we have ACCW. On the 29th, I have my handy dandy notes that I took down here. We had 2 feature matches. The ACCW Tag Team Championship was on the line. Aegis and Augury, the team of Joel Williams and Matthias, son of Zeus, as Anika and Helen. They took on the Monkey Face Mafia. This is a thing, don't ask. Of Lauren Schwanet and Robbie Souls, using Lauren Santiago and Robbie G. Crowd Meter 2, Aegis and Augury got it done. They defended. That is their 2nd defense. Their 3rd defense will be against one of the other 3 teams that earned a shot last month. So we'll see who that is. The ACCW Hardcore Championship was on the line as well. Sean Carter using the Bandersnatch. He ended one reign of terror with the Hardcore Championship of the Chiropractor, who had the most defenses ever, but the longest reign in ACCW Hardcore title history belonged to his opponent on this evening, Jonathan Thu, Hold the Line Harry, with Backpack Man. He had the title for over a year with him, and we're going to see how it happens again, because in a TLC match at Crowd Meter 3, your winner, and for the 2nd time, the ACCW Hardcore Champion, it is Hold the Line Harry as Backpack Man. So, Backpack Man, stuff PTSD about that one. All right, so the main event was something that we do every year. It was the 4th annual White Elephant Gift Exchange Tournament. So this is the rules of this tournament. It is always run by Joel Williams. Tremendous idea. Everybody shows up, they pick a number, and the table is laid out with all these different little packages, each of which has a competitor card inside. One by one, we all pick a package. We open it up. It has a competitor card. The deck that we brought and the competitor that we brought, we add that other gimmick to ours. So we're playing with 2 gimmicks. Any gimmick that references a specific skill corresponds to your printed skill. So if it for example, if you had Kenny Omega, who blows up a card on his grapple, it says printed 10, whatever your competitor's printed 10 is, that's what it would trigger on. In person, it's not that hard to keep track of. What gets hard to keep track of, though, is that when you get to a top 8, when you get to top cut and you beat an opponent, you get their extra gimmicks too. So by the time of the finals, we're playing with 5 gimmicks. Top 4, in 4th place, Ron Frazier as the perfect assistant with the Cheetah's gimmick. So it's Technique Cheetah. So she was the most technical wrestler in the LFF on that night. In third place, Lauren Schwanee as Brett the Metalhead with Abigail's gimmick. And then the finals. Finishing in second was Hold the Line Harry using Agatha Mai with the Grumps gimmick. Yeah. And then by the time of the finals, he also had Cheetah's gimmick, Hollywood's gimmick, Fox Assassin's gimmick. But taking the event down was me! I had Overdog with Danhausen's gimmick. And then by the time of the finals, I also had Sugar Plum and Santa Calais and Abigail. It was a lot of fun, and we will now move it on back to Talk of the Universe, January 1st edition. Bye, everyone.
Back. Thank you, Jeremy, once again for that amazing locals report and
Yeah, I went a
all
little
the
long
fun.
this week. My apologies.
Yeah, I mean it's your local locals, ACCW. And it's just such an interesting
Format. Yeah.
5 gimmicks at the
I
end.
mean, you hit us here at Rip and Chip. I've said time and time again, anytime Press 1P takes a tough loss, you just bet on him to win locals the following week, because he usually wins anyway, but like he's like, nope, I've never seen a guy bounce back like Press 1P, man. I mean, I don't even think slump is something that's happened to this guy in his career. We've maybe seen him go down a tournament and then be right back at it. But this guy came out swinging. I thought I had this tournament on lock. I was running in with my Cookies Fortune deck, and I didn't even make top cut, man. It was rough week for me. Fresh off a victory in Hold the Line Harry's tournament, so I was feeling real good. I just captured the United States Championship. I just beat the New York Phenom in a banger to kick off the show at Rip and Chip Arena. I was busting out, my A game here for Cookies Fortune testing, and I didn't make it out of the freaking cut, man. And in comes Press 1P dropping bombs. And I know we touched a little bit about on the locals report, but the balloon bending, fun sending, hero making, grump hating, twist and pop and never stop and true entertainer in the wrestling world, Mr. Pop and Twist will be the top dog at locals. Got himself a win over the player of the era, his first time in a decade beating him in a locals event, probably ever. So that was exciting. Then we had Matty Drip Trip, aka Matty Bar 1, coming in. And folks, if you're an out-of-towner, make your way down to Rip and Chip, because we've seen Brian Schmidt become a runner-up. We've seen Matty Bar 1 become a runner-up. We've seen Joey Sins take down an event. I mean, you just come down, and these outsiders perform very, very well. So it was a great local event. And, of course, you can see your tri-state champion, the Sundown Moon, over there. So, Jeremy, thank you for covering that. I think we have one more thing for Week in Review.
What do we got?
We got to talk about this Matt Hass hidden threat format. We got to spend a little bit of time on this, Matt Fogs, okay? I mean, this is of all the wild things that I've been pitched. I mean, I've been pitched by Mark Perry entrances.
Are you saying this
is
even more wild than our 5 gimmick versus 5 gimmick match we just talked about?
Oh, so much more. I wanted this to be posted.
You missed it, Mr. Steigerwald. This might be 10 times more wild than what you just said. Exactly. And I'm not even speaking in hyperbole here, folks. This is select, not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, not a 10, not a 12, not a 15, not an 18, not a 24, 50. I want to drop an F-bomb and pay the 500 bits. 50 gimmicks on this one, man. Holy crap. All right.
So basically what you're saying is that Matt needs to find somebody willing and play test this format.
Well, he needs to find someone willing to double check his math on some of these. So the competitor that he picked is Loudmouth Leo Larynx, which it's a very good competitor, but the gimmick triggers whenever you roll 10, and half of the competitors that he put on
50 fucking competitors, Matt. 50. Shooting for the moon, dude.
So many of the gimmicks trigger calls him to have his 10 to an 11, his 9 to an 11. It baffles the mind of how many turn roll increasers he decided to put into it.
Matt's playing 4D chess. He knows his opponent is coming with with some turn roll reduction. So he's giving himself a safety net. If you make those 12 down to a 10, man, he's ready, man. I got you, Matt.
Well, no, because you can't even do that because he has Dr. Dick in there Dastardly Dick in there to increase. He has
oh, that's hilarious. If you make your 8 a 10 with the Dastardly Dick.
Yeah,
and you're like, I don't know.
He had to change it up because I was telling him Snake Pit makes his gimmick basically obsolete at that point, and he also decides to have Underdog, so he has a max hand size of +10 on the first roll anyway too. It's crazy the effects that he decided to pick.
Listen, I love this. I love the thought experiment. I love the fun and the craziness behind it. But 50, Matt, 50, dude. Like, let's start with 5, right? 3 is like trios range. We want to be crazier than trios, right? So 5, 6. Oh, but Pate's post was great. Jeremy,
having just played 5 gimmicks versus 5 gimmicks, that's probably about the maximum you can go and be able to keep track of everything. We were forgetting gimmicks here and there, and like more than that, no. And that's only going to work in person. That's not going to work online.
I like Chris Pate's take on it. Like, we and him were kind of jamming back and forth where it's like, let's make the I can't be killed character. And I listed he listed a bunch, I listed a bunch. Then he was like, and you forgot about these. And then it was like, oh, besides that, you're like, we didn't have like the Phoenix in there as well, like all this stuff to just never ever die, which is pretty hilarious. But then on top of that, after you have your like 20 characters that say you can't die, you then can go and like trigger on every single turn roll, right? Like 3 times at 50, where it's like, all right, if we're spending 12 characters to not die, that leaves me with what, 38 left? 38 divided by 6
is 6. Not get death choked.
Well, I said that you do in my version, right, of the not dying. I had Practice Sight, Dump Sanders, and Madman Fulton in there on top of that, right? Then forget it. You do King Pink, friggin' Blast of the Dying Breed. You go nuts. Okay, 50 too many, but I think 5 would be fun. As some sort of like Survivor Series, and maybe you could do something cool like after you hit a finisher, one of them gets turned face down. Even if it's like win, lose, or draw. I don't know. But I love the idea of the 50.
You take out. 5. You take the Beast Michael Kerr. You take Scott Prime. You take Brian Cage version 1. You take Brian Cage version 2, and you take King Brian Cage and just go ham with that.
Yeah, I roll power. I roll agility or power. Right, you get +2 and -2, and I get a possible reroll. Right, and it's an 11. Yeah, super.
Man from IT, Ultimate Fighter, also a very fun shenanigans there.
Yeah, hell yeah. But again, Matt, thanks for the post. It actually was great to mess around with. I don't think you're being satirical when you suggested 50, and I think that's probably the most hilarious part of all of this. But yeah, if we ever did something like that, I think we'd start at like 5. Maybe.
Those of us that know Matt know he was dead serious.
He was dead serious.
He was dead serious.
And it wasn't even like you get 50 and here's 5 random ones. No, we were going with the set of 50. The ultimate army
you don't use Nightmare King in that one because Scott Prime turns your agility into a power, so there's no reason to.
Steve, Matt Haas versus someone, Ultimate Army, 50 on 50, go down at the Grand Gathering, man. Who's going to step up for what might be the greatest match in LFF history?
Well, as the first person to answer the call, I guess it would be me.
Chibi versus the Hidden Threat Ultimate Army match, Grand Gathering 5. Book it, General Manager John Calais.
There we go.
All right, so Steve, I think you're stalling. This is something you're just trying to
all right, I know what you guys are here for. Spoilers.
All right, let me
it's a really big time. Everybody wants to know what's to come. What are the new cards I'm going to be playing?
No, this is what people
want. It's the deck of the week. That's the live I'm getting.
Yes,
that's what people want to know about it. We got it right here. Your United States champion, baby. Wanna Chugga entrance card would have been jumped bell if it wasn't for that corrupt Todd Brooks, who I'm going to show your character last today for that. High water flip version clarified by your former champion. The hat was on, hat was off. I got this beautiful deck. These are my lucky orange sleeves, the ones I took down Press 1P with. So I think I got to use these all the time. All right. Not usually my forte, but Snap Punch, friendly draws here. If you look at the rest of the deck list, I did a lot of cards that were difficult to stop altogether or restricted, and then obviously grapples were my point of attack. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't passing turns, and the more cards that I had in my hand, the more likely I was either A, to have grapples that I could throw that couldn't be hit with follow-up stops, or cards that were restricted. Chain wrestling. Again, folks, everybody has these strategies that they go towards. I feel if you're in a matchup for a title, you need cards like chain wrestling in your deck to offset the turn roll advantage that your opponent has. I couldn't imagine that chain wrestling would do as much work as it did. I think it won me about 3 turn rolls, which is huge, including a 9 to a 12 to beat an 11. So the point of chain wrestling was I'm not going to pass my turn if there's a grapple in my hand. That is my point of attack. Grapple, grapple, grapple. There's no point of me having a lockup in my hand. If I win the turn roll, I don't want to have to pass. Chain wrestling in there. Snap headlock gives you a friendly draw for what we talked about. Spinning thrust kick. You know what your opponent's coming with. If you could turn off some skill stops, this is a huge card. So I had that and the knee bar. I think Candyman was too smart to go for the All-American headlock. Maybe she had it in her hand already. But I think they did anticipate me to have these cards to turn off those stops. However, I also like them not only because they could turn off skill stops, but they would be able to get put onto the board without giving them the opportunity to stop, which would get me closer.
Real good.
Yeah, just in general, like you can't hit it with a stop, so I could do that into a follow-up grapple, which you don't have that many stops for. So I think they were a good call. Super hip toss. This was one that I convinced myself was a good idea. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna cut it for something more aggressive because I didn't want to have super hip toss in my hand and have to pass. Scissor kick, same thing I spoke about before. Not a card I would typically run with high water. However, the fact that I could get it back at the end of the game and make it unstoppable with Champion Kickstarter is huge. Sticking on the theme of not giving my opponent the opportunity to use stops as well as they would like. Ring step uprising. If chain wrestling was the MVP, this was the co-pilot of this one. Ring step uprising. When the United States title was designed by me, it was specifically worded to add to turn rolls for things like Booker Mania, Matt Neal, and this card. And if you weren't aware of this tech, every time my opponent would roll grapple or power, which was a lot, I would get to draw a card for the ring step uprising. What also made me think that this was a really good pack, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I was anticipating my opponent to use Sheep Kneel before my Big American Hammer, which is something that you could search for, but also wouldn't stop leads. So I was thinking that Ring Step Uprising had a very likely chance of going through. So my plan of attack was grapples first, but also lead submission. Then we went brawling punching, hold it right there. Same reason, restriction on stops, and slithering tackles. Slithering tacking right over here, slithering tackle. One of my favorite card lines. I like pressure, pressure, pressure. I know people go other ways with this, but I'm trying to hit finish grapples. So I'm gonna see if I could throw those as many times as I can. And if you watch my deck list, there's more than one target. Urazuki. This is a late addition for me. But I think this is a really great card that's often overlooked. Random discard is so powerful. Why? Because you see the card that's lost, and that can make all the difference here. The reason why I ended up using Urazuki is because I was running no stop at 19. I needed to make sure that if you were going to choose to try to run through my strike stops, meaning strikes that stop grapples, one of them was very, very painful. So if you chose to go the route to try to force grapples, you're going to have to eat a Urazuki. Trap in the corner. These cards to me are no-brainers if they work. +1 to your turn roll is almost as good as a skill card when it's guaranteed to be live. Head-to-head. This is a card that I think guys like Jeremy Steigerwald and ACCW really appreciate. Again, this kind of goes to the theme. If my opponent is able to hit me with one of these follow-up stops, High Water's gimmick lets me recur this and then take the stop out of play, kind of setting us back to square one. Chicken Wing Wonderplex and Fog Breaker. Didn't go with tables here, but I did go with things that couldn't be stopped by these really powerful stops. You're going to have to think that my opponent is going to try to run a rejected against me being high water and having access to my discard pile. I don't like Apocalypse. I know people love it. You know, I'm going to think that maybe she had an Apocalypse as well. Chicken Wing Wonderplex will let me get past that. Here is the meat and potatoes here for the BOSS. Knock down the ladder and knock down the table. Where's my turn up the tables? It's not even on this list. We skipped it. It's not here. So that's how much of a surprise it was. It wasn't even here. Knock down the ladder, knock down the tables, and turn up the tables, folks. That's on me. It wasn't there when I copied and pasted. I can't blame Schmidt. Turn up the tables. Some of you folks don't even know what this thing does. Your knock down the table and knock down the ladder are finishers instead. If you have knock down the table in play, this card is a finisher instead. So basically, this can get turned on by the knock down the table and vice versa, but it also gives you the perk of the knock down the ladder. So knock down the ladder and knock down the table can become finishers that make the crowd meter +1. This is insanely powerful. And what I usually do is I try to, you know, when I have cards that are super aggressive, they come at the cost of your stops, your 7-1-8 press slams. So this card combo here allows me to have a second grapple finish, which my opponent doesn't have a follow-up stop for in 13 through 15, and a second strike finish with High Water's gimmick can be really, really devastating as I'm throwing a lot of strikes at you. Next up, Rocking Stretch. I've seen people love these lines. I happen to really love them. It's hard when people are playing Apox and stuff like that. This is a C2 stop one that gives you +2 to a skill. Again, on the same principles of chain wrestling, I think you need to equalize yourself on turn roll advantages as much as you can. So this +2 would kind of offset the title belt if it could get in play. And even more importantly, if my plan of attack is to throw grapples at my opponent, they get stopped with strike cards. I could kind of force my opponent to have multiple strikes into play. And then this would give me +2 to submission, which would make my 5 a 7, turning off the number 15 stop. And once the 15 stop is off, that's when I would spam the 420 to Yuma and the knock down the ladder. So that was a good idea in my book to get that 5 to a 7, equal the title belt, also shut off the 15. Then I had top rope drop kick, bulldog choke. Again, I'm just trying to limit as many stops as I can. This is not something I think I would run in open play, which a lot of people do, but this is just specifically based on my opponent and the old switcheroo. This card made famous by Loudmouth Leo Larynx and Mr. Big Match Pete, who, you know, pulled the old switcheroo on me during a live stream. Maybe there are other choices here that people would like better, set up the table. I don't know. This is a card that I always pack in High Water. When it comes to High Water or any of the variations that flip one and pick up one, the recursion in my deck is almost always directly to hand, just so things don't get messed up. That was a little different because of this build, because I knew my opponent, but I'm going to go with the old switcheroo before I go with a lariat and so on and so forth. Backlash with the kendo stick. If you ever see me play High Water, this is almost in every single one of my designs. I love to be able to grab it early on, keep your board controlled, get some card advantage. Mean Muggin and Force Shield. This is an idea that I really liked for this deck list, but not in general. The reason being I could recover grapples twice. So at the end of the game, even if my opponent did roll strike and I had to flip a card over, I would still have the opportunity to get the second grapple finish back if I had this combo in play. So again, normally I would not run these cards with High Water. I would really focus on things that were more directly to hand or things that recovered strikes. But I went with this being that I had 2 grapple finishers. Then I stayed with the stock finishers. Traditionally, I do play Jackknife Powerbomb and so on and so forth. I think that there was a very good chance that they would be ready for generic finishers in this case. And through all the, you know, the fun that I have with these deck of the weeks, what I kind of want to showcase here on a more serious factor is, yes, I do love to play aggressive. I do like to show that there are other strategies out there, but I'm not just randomly throwing things in a pile. There is a method to my madness. Things are very, you know, well thought out in a lot of cases. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it seemed to really work really well. Rolling hot always helps. But again, there are other strategies that you can use. And people said, you're crazy. You're going to run your deck list with less submission stops when you know that the Candyman's plan of attack is going to be submission stops. The way I look at it here is that I'm going to lose that race anyway. I know if she's going blow for me with submissions, that she's going to win that race because I'm already less stops here. So I try to combat that by if she's going for submissions, I'm going for grapples. But if I throw in something like turn up the tables, I'm giving up one stop, but then I'm turning two more finishers live. So by giving up one card, I'm actually, putting myself a turn ahead, possibly. So again, there's your method to the madness. This is the deck list that I was running. Definitely not what most people expect, but that is the beauty of Super Show. There's a large variety of stuff that you could try out. Now that I've given you what you wanted and that high is kind of settled down, we could go into spoilers here. Schmidt, man, this is why we call him Saboteur. The heavy size. Are you mad because the deck of the week was cut shorter than you would like? Is that why you seem inflated?
No,
here,
we have requests for other decks as well. I mean, we could do like double deck of the week.
Oh, I have this fantastic homicide deck. It's really
All right,
cool.
let's
I think
get
people would
into
be. We pull that up here. Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Entrance. All right, let's get to some spoilers for Grand Pack Part 2.
Tried.
We are celebrating champ. This guy just shoots right in. Oh,
of course he does.
This is your current LFF World Champion Runtime Terror. Guys, I'm going to talk a lot about these cards, okay? Because I put a lot of thought into these things. You have guys who I'm a big fan of, despite suspending them, like Mark Perry, who discover some really cool things about their characters months after it was released because they didn't realize, what kind of Easter eggs and things were in there. Runtime Terror for me is a very good character. It is your world champion. So I had to make sure, in respect for the game, that I didn't print finishers that were too powerful for that, but were really unique. So what I came up with here is a character that could use 5 skill requirement cards. Again, because now the finishers can be an upgrade to Runtime Terror, but they're more centered on this character. So 5 skill requirements. I know the world champion loves some skill requirements. We've seen her on Drawing Times. We've seen her on Chugga Chugga. We've seen her really utilize things like the Daredevil dives. You can see alien invasions. This is going to be a very interesting build. Now, a second thing I do with these things is I take into consideration that people are using these for drafts, right? You might not want this character because there are going to be random skill requirements. You might not get 5. You might not get any of them in these grand packs. So we made some finishers to make sure they all mesh really well together, that you wouldn't be disappointed if you pull Runtime Terror. So let's see what else we got here in the finish department. System Overrun. +4 to technique. When this card is in your discard pile, you may replace skill requirement cards in the text of your cards with card or cards. Okay, so first of all, I want to say, if this replacement makes what I want to call a broken sentence, there's no interaction. All right, so unfortunately, you can't use Felt That, you can't use Spinning Thrust, you can't make Felt That stop any, and you can't make Spinning Thrust Kick say that your cards can't be stopped, because it says you can't be cards stopped by cards with cards, which is not, that doesn't mean anything. All right, this is specifically like Brainwashed. Pick up 2 skill requirement cards from your discard pile. Pick up 2 cards from your discard pile now. All right, so just know that going in, if there is a broken sentence, it doesn't do anything. And that's the best way I could describe it. I'll make sure this is under the FAQ. All right, flip to the next one. So here, Payload Press Slam, +2 to technique and +2 to grapple for each card you have in play. If your spotlight is there, draw 1. Okay, this is a happy accident. This came together, but this is an insane card. If your spotlight is live, right? +4/+4, draw a card. You see what I'm saying here? This is going to replace specifically. So again, very, very good in draft. You're going to get some power finishers. Payload Press Slam Dynamite looks like she's getting chucked over the top rope. I love this art by Mike DeNoia. This art, fantastic. It's going to be the last of the non-full art templates, but I do still love these templates. Next one up. Run Times Over. I thought this was a really fun name. Only a +2 to grapple. However, if you have 5 skill requirement cards in play, this card cannot be stopped. If your spotlight is on, if you have 5 cards in play, you have an unstoppable submission. I think this came out awesome. I'm going to pat myself on the back on a lot of these because I think the design is really cool. This is the stuff that you can expect if you leave your faith in me.
Also, that's a very uncomfortable hold for someone who has a television for a head. That can't feel good.
No, you're getting wires in the rib cage and stuff. No, Hollow King's last, Smith. Follow directions here.
Uh-oh. But nothing's up.
Bruiser Beans. I was expecting this so quick. This is a character that I've been working.
When you hit a card with Barricade, Beatdown, or Blindside in the name, discard 2 cards in your hand and add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand.
All right. So this is Bruiser Beans. We call her Triple B at times. 3 of my favorite card lines that never get used because I love the art. Slam It to the Barricade, Beatdown, and Blindside Choke. Really amazing original art by Juan Pablo Massa. Unfortunately, that while I wanted to push those cards, we've gotten cards in the same line with the same keywords that might take precedent over there. But that was the inspiration for this, the Triple B, that card line, and then the effect on those is One More Time. That's the card effect of the card that is in honor of my marriage to Sage, obviously Beans' his mother. So I thought it was a really thematic, fun character. Same stat line as her dear old dad. And you'll see that in there. So this is a very good gimmick. Anything that lets you recur cards on either player's turn is very, very good. You are always discarding 2 and picking up 1. So it might not help you at certain points. I mean, this is very thematic of my child, Bruiser Bean. She's just a tornado, she don't care what's in her way. I love this gimmick. I really look forward to playing it. Let's see some of the finishers. You'll notice that, parallel to Dad's finishers, right? +1 power, +3 agility, just like the Boss Hammer. Big Beanies, Beatdown. There's that Triple B again, beating up on Dad. But you also get to draw 1, then discard 2, and pick up 1 from your discard pile, right? So even early on, this will ease the pain, but still very, very good card. 9 to a 10, 6 to a 9. Hits hard. Going up to the grapple. Call back to the Grand Grappling. +2 agility, +2 grapple. Boppy, not nice. Again, these are all very silly, as the Grand Packs tend to be. Boppy is a nickname for Victoria Joe that Beans just kind of came up with. We're not really sure where it came from. But, Boppy, not nice, usually proceeds with Beans putting her in some sort of wrestling hold. So this is very, very fitting. If you hit a card with Barricade, Beatdown, or Blindside in the name, you may re-roll your finish roll. So very thematic, like the Grand Grappling. This one might be a little bit easier to hit because you can go slam into the back Barricade or Blindside tackle into a really powerful finisher. So again, Crash Aggro, this is going to be right up my alley. This is probably the character out of all my kids that is most likely my play style. I mean, obviously, Ariel Lipstick, one of the best characters of all time, if not the best character of all time. The Next Supreme, very, very good. But again, these are more my styles, this Smash Aggro. So we'll be playing a lot of Bruiser Beans when this comes out. Next one up. You Naked. One of her catchphrases. I don't know why. Everybody's, I don't know. Some of you guys have kids. Beans just loves to just be in a diaper. Never wants to have clothes on. If you have any article of clothes off, you're naked. That's just it. Where you naked. So you're getting the throw in the towels treatment here. Add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. If your opponent has no cards in play, double these bonuses. That's the play off You Naked. They have no cards in play. They're naked. You get a double bonus here. But no gimmick triggers. Still, again, very, very good card, as you might combo it with some other stuff. Next up, General Lee Wong, another champion being celebrated. So far was the world champion, then it was the United States champion. Now it's your veterans champion. General Lee Wong, global, I'm sorry, but celebrating the veterans with that. Thank you very much for that clarification. This is a really awesome gimmick. And again, the theme, where I was coming from with this is General Lee Wong very much focused on his roller derby style character. And to me, this had the feel of like picking up speed as a roller derby guy, setting up for a big hit. So it almost functions like a ship when you roll power, agility, and technique. On that third roll, you draw 3, and your next turn roll is +2. This is a very good gimmick, I think. My logic on this was if I'm a character like Rising Sun, I'm getting that 1 card every time I roll a skill. I don't have to wait for it to build up, even though that build up can be really, really key, right? I mean, you also might run into guys like Terra Skull that make this more difficult to do. But overall, this could be, you could win a turn roll on power, get a 4-card swing, and +2 to your next turn roll. Takes a little build up. I think this is a really awesome effect. I think it's going to be very powerful, as I do with all the characters here. But I feel draw 2 might not have been enough, and I gave it a little bit of extra juice here. I think it's going to be a very interesting build of a character. Let's see what we got. So I took a lot of inspiration from Guile in Street Fighter on these. Yeah. So this is very good effect. +1, +4. That's +5 in bonuses. You may re-roll your next turn roll. Nothing too fancy here, but this could actually help you out your gimmick immensely. I love this art from Denoya. I think it looks absolutely sick. And I think it's just a solid card effect in general. The Star Spangled Slam. Again, pulling off from Guile. +4 in bonuses. Next turn roll is +2. I mean, in an ideal world, you trigger your gimmick, you hit this, you get +2 to your roll, you hit and then you get another +2. It could be really, really cool. Go back. Let's see what he says. For your turn rolls.
Yeah, the way
it's worded just like the ships, right? Just with the words instead of the logos. Or maybe it says after, on the other one. So yeah, I mean, we'll clarify that.
Would be much more clear.
The 4-star backbreaker. Your opponent randomly reveals 4 cards in the hand. Choose 1 card and bury it. Again, no tricks in 86, but this will work really good with old school General Lee Wong as well. We're watching Pat Mulligan sleep on the job in real time right now while he's up. The Hallow King. That doesn't look like the Hallow King. That looks like Nyrab,
the
Vulcan Dragon God.
Okay.
Okay. When your opponent hits a stop, draw 1 card for each other stop they haven't played, max 2. So this is kind of like reverse General Lee Wong here. Again, I love rewarding aggro play. And if you're playing a wall of stops, you're going to have a rough time against Nyrab. He's going to have a huge draw engine. But if you're like me and splashing and chain wrestling and stuff, you're not going to be as hurt by these sort of things. But it's a really good effect. And Nyrab's finishers and Dragon God's finishers are super good. So to be able to have a more universal gimmick with this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. First one up. Glorious Purpose. If your opponent has at least 3 more cards in their discard pile than you, this card is also a follow-up. So if you're using old school Nyrab, right, they're going to start with 3 cards in their discard pile. So you'll be able to hit the Glorious Purpose pretty early if you have that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Lead into follow-up finish with it.
Yep. Say my name. No tricks here at all. +1, +1, +2, +2. I mean, huge bonus, right? This is kind of like a last word, +2, +4. I think that when they're spread out this way, they're much more effective. However, you might be competing with pound for pound one of the best cards ever printed in the Dragon God Suplex. Obviously with things like Crime Doesn't Pay and Freeze Don't Move and stuff, it takes a hit. But the Dragon God Suplex is if stop, draw 2 cards and bury it. That could be a draw 4 with Nairod. So yeah, you gotta have some real juice here. Say my name when Naireb
3
is
10s, 2
around you.
8s, and a 5.
What does this
Yeah,
add?
3 10s, 2 8s, and a 5. Congratulations, Naireb. You left yourself open to the crowd meter 5 botch.
3 10s, 2 8s. That's
You almost
good.
have to with a +6.
Yep.
Draw the bottom card of your deck for the rest of the match. You cannot lose via DQ or count out. This was added because there was a different effect on this, which was probably the best card ever printed in history.
Oh, what did you have it say?
The next time you lose via DQ, you instead win. Yeah.
Miss in the face.
No.
Yeah. I know, it never goes away, right? Because your opponent would never stop your DQ cards ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit of a botcheroo. So that's being fixed. The Hello King.
Your target's power is minus the crowd meter?
Yeah. Mean. Yeah,
Yes,
very cool. Great job. I like the whole look of this with the different backgrounds and stuff created. Yes, your target's power is minus the crowd meter. Next up. Think fast, Chuckle Nuts. I'm still not sure what a Chuckle Nuts is, but this is the one that they requested. +1 power, +1 strike. Your opponent randomly discards 1 card from their hand. This card copies that card's text. That's
so if he randomly hits the finisher, it gets the finisher's text as well.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Good stuff. It was a graveyard smash. Any number of cards your opponent's discard pile. It does smash the graveyard. It does what it's advertised to do.
Yep. And last but not least, welcome to Sleepy Hollow. Going back to your opponent's maximum hand size is -4. Ouch.
Yeah, and this is something that can be used for the tag team as well, right? So Hollow Kingdom.
Well,
that's it.
Those first
That's
4
not it,
are
Schmidt.
disgusting.
No.
First 5.
That's not it. You screwed
I'm sorry. The Naireb, it threw me off.
Robert the Brain Dunn is the world champion. Brain still standing, right?
Anti-Eddie Fury incoming. Angry Eddie Fury.
And again, it doesn't.
I'd say Eddie Fury's gimmick is better.
Oh yes, it is.
Well, yeah, but Hollow King versus Eddie Fury.
Yeah,
it's just
it's not as bad as Eddie Fury versus Vacation Commish.
Oh yeah, no, that's funny.
That's why he's so mad about Vacation Commissioner. Now it all makes sense because Eddie Fury gets -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, his 5 goes to a 0 at crowd meter 5.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's why he's so mad. It all makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get past 2 snake pits and a Vacation Commissioner in my pod this weekend. I got to see that loveliness.
Titan becomes very, very sad against Vacation Commish. We have a Brain. Brain still standing. Once per turn roll, when you or your opponent's when you or your target rolls 8, you may re-roll your turn roll. Very nice.
Oh, Robbie, he's very sad now.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that this effect was not in the game yet. We know the Brain loves his re-rolls thing, so I try to keep it on brand with all the stuff. But this is when you or your target roll 8, you may re-roll your turn roll. Yeah, I mean, again, good effect. Re-rolls are always good.
It's Grim Librarian.
Kind of, right? Or is it exactly?
It's exactly unless stats, so he can give himself 2 8s, or his opponent can take his 8 away in a book match, but otherwise it ends up being the same as Grim Librarian under normal circumstances.
Is it Grim Librarian is when you roll go back to
When
brain?
you or your opponent roll. You or your opponent roll technique, which is his 8.
Yeah, similar,
This
but
is
not
different because it's it's a little bit different because of the number, and the numbers can be played with.
Yeah.
So he could give himself an extra, or his opponent could remove his. So that's the difference.
Yeah, but Grim Librarian is when you or your opponent roll technique.
Yeah. No. So when you roll technique, okay, you can re-roll either turn roll. So it's not the same. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
It is close though. It's a good,
close.
It is a fair comparison.
It is close.
Next up.
Derp.
If
But
you roll grapple,
the fact that numbers can be changed is always a pain in the butt for some of these effects.
Yeah.
Brain teaser: if you roll grapple for your turn roll or re-roll your turn roll, double these bonuses.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's very King Cage-esque.
Yep.
We're seeing the King of Steel Chains coming soon. The Brain Breaker. You know, I love hating on Apocalypse.
Cannot be stopped by Apocalypse.
Blue.
I think all follow-up finish grapples should have that text.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just starts you up so much. I mean, the Brain brought up a really good point, and I was talking to Press 1P about it, where like the strongest stat lines are like 10 techniques. And I was like, your protected grapples are probably the weakest because you not only like if you have the advantage over your opponent, you have to worry about them like apocing to clear the board to get you back. The Brain Bender, if you re-rolled your turn roll, you may re-roll your finish roll. I think this one's really cool.
Always good to have free re-rolls.
Oh hell yeah!
On finish rolls.
This is gonna be good stuff.
Yep. Okay, so that was 6 competitors. You got even more than you were supposed to get.
Did I miss anyone? I want to be fair here. I promised that I would. Finishers.
Well, Phenomenal One wants to see more. So Ron Rumble's asking if there's a new Rainbow Girl.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. I said that earlier. Yep, I appreciate that, Ron. Yes, there is a new Rainbow Girl. Rainbow Girl. Yes, thank you very much. I knew there was one, at least one that was missing. Rainbow Girl. When your target rolls power for their turn roll, your turn roll is +2. I always thought this is what Shadow Phoenix did, but apparently it's grapple.
It is.
Well, that's a really good effect.
Shadow Phoenix is grapple, right?
Shadow Phoenix is rage.
That's just grapple.
What?
Rage.
Strike. Yeah.
Yep.
What I meant was I always thought Shadow Phoenix triggered off power.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Granted, I think this is the first one that has
target.
Target in the text, but it has a stat that's not its 10.
Oh, interesting. No, because Shadow Phoenix is 10 power. And so is Rage.
Shadow's not on his grapple? I thought he was on his grapple.
No.
Grapple, yeah. But I thought his grapple's 10, right?
No, he's power.
Nope, he's power. Okay, my bad. Okay.
So this is the first one without power 10. Which is coincidental, but still. And also can use Rainbow. The Rainbow Cookie. I'm running out of
Rainbow
Rainbow
Cookies.
Here. Yeah.
If your opponent rolled power for triple these bonuses.
I mean, listen, you're going up against the Rainbow Robe, right? Which is like +2, +1, +3, something like that.
Yeah, but 3 to power, 3 to grapple, and draw 3 cards is pretty good.
Real good, yeah. Definitely.
Rainbow Girl's finishes are real good.
Yes, they are.
Arc of the Rainbow. It's a little soul snatcher. I love that finishing move.
When your opponent rolls that skill. So she has her original gimmick on her grapple and discard. I love it. So question though. Every time it goes to the discard pile, can she choose a different skill?
Yeah, but it will only do one.
She can only ever have one skill chosen, but
say
so
like
in a multiplayer match
pile,
after that person's gone,
I pick Strike. And then now while it's in my discard pile, when you roll Strike, I draw a card.
Yeah.
You know, they cornbread it, it's gone. I'm not drawing anything. Then it hits the discard pile, you choose Grapple.
Okay. Rainbow Run. Your opponent's first and second breakout rolls are -1 for each different move type.
So it could be -3, right? If you have a strike, grapple, and submission.
strikes, grapple, and submission.
Great card. Any other champion?
These are definitely a lot of interesting competitors. I love seeing them getting made like this.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a little screenshot and who you think the most powerful is, who you think the most fun design.
Meeple's
Oh.
champion, it's in the name of.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, Meeple, I was thinking the same thing. It was like, he's the champion of the Meeples. Come on, we got to give them a little something to come back for next week. Next
Soon
week
to
we'll
be deep
we'll kick it
6
off.
champ, 0-win champ deck of the week, lol.
Let's go, baby. You're very. They're all very innovative stuff. All right, I think we can
Tempo
say.
Kenny is asking if you got his alt art.
Yeah, I did. Yep. Let's work. I'll tell you guys. I got a lot of content create forms in the last 48 hours of the year. A lot.
Well, of course, because they all any that you didn't get before last night at midnight, it's over. They're gone.
That being said, if your guys are requesting like your Elvises and your Vals, like please don't message me in 2 weeks. It's going to be months before it comes. I mean, you guys waited to the last minute. They've got probably 10 characters each and projects beforehand. I mean, if you're in a rush, I could switch you out no problem to somebody else. But if you're getting Val or Elvis or even Nuno, who people did request, Nuno just takes his time because he has a lot of other projects. It will be some time, you guys may have 15 characters ahead of you at this point. Guys like Mike Denoya, who kind of work full time on this stuff. Some people give me Mike Denoya on Monday, and I have an image for them by Tuesday. Because this is his full time thing. They don't have other projects, let alone other full time jobs going on. So just please be very patient. I promise you, everybody will get it. But you guys, if you waited till December to fill those forms out, you are going to have a much longer wait than people who did it immediately. Anything else we got to cover? Oh,
We have an Expanding the Universe tomorrow for the first time in 2 weeks. Congratulations,
first time in 2025, man. First one. Who's scheduled for tomorrow?
Me. I don't have anything in the pipeline, but I'm just
okay.
come on and we'll make cards for me at my.
Fitz is gonna make me pull my hair out, man. I got
probably
no following the directions. It's gonna be the wild, wild west. Yeah. Alt art means I changed the picture on an existing card. Period. Next. No logo change. No adding this finisher to it. This that. Might work on some Halloween stuff tomorrow. I think we got the final pieces of those puzzles.
Feels weird to be working on Halloween in January.
That's everyday Halloween in my household. And then, as I mentioned, once we get through the Grand Pack spoilers, I mean, we're going to go over the single cards again and the characters. Then we'll start spoiling the Super Lucia stuff because that's been sent to print as well. If you did not wait till the last minute, Michael Kirk, you're not part of the solo mode deck, your character is getting printed and will be released throughout the year. So
there you go. Nice.
Where's Sean Lowe, man? He's gonna get these paws.
If
we got a paw.
All right. As a reminder, if you missed early in the show, Grand Gathering is on the site. It is on sale. Go get it. First 50 signups get an extra competitor card in their order.
A foil one, I believe.
A foil one.
Yeah.
More information than we had a moment ago. Nice.
Faction Wars is kicking off, Friday, I believe?
It should have technically gone official this morning.
I think deck lists are being reviewed first.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Calais to give the go ahead. 22 left in stock for the first 50.
We also
already halfway weeks gone. Dyson Diversions.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta, Georgia, in a couple of weeks. I'll be there. I think Father Light will be there. I'm not sure.
I believe he
so.
will be.
He will be.
Flame
Sure.
Fighter Alt Art tomorrow.
That one came out sick. I mean, if you haven't been in a Zoom room, you probably haven't seen it, but Mike was cooking on those, boy. I love that. Might have to have Mike do more full art verticals because I thought that came out really cool. I saw a post in the discussion group about who's the pick to win the tornado event. That event has been a blast, man. I'm surprised. You want to talk about? I'm running Jankzilla right now, and I'm rolling through that event. But I don't know, man. You guys, I saw some of the voting there. You guys are counting some folks out, man. I ain't never counting some of those people out to win that event. I will be very shocked if I win that event.
There's 8 great picks, and you're only allowed to pick one.
I know. I'm just saying.
Nobody's getting disrespected here.
It's hard. It's hard to pick that one, man. It really is. Hold the line, Harry. Got to give him a shout out. He's running a great event. 2 eliminations is a nice sweet spot, I think, for an online event. He does a good job of not only organizing it, but staying on top of people and kind of pushing them towards their matches. So big shout out for everybody throughout all the chaos who made it happen. My next matchup is up against one of the best I don't know how you would describe it. I don't want to say multiplayer, but multi-competitor matchup players of all time. Your former Tornado champion, Mr. Sean Loeb. So that is going to be a banger.
Speaking of Sean Loeb, amongst the excitement of Deck of the Week, we did miss a very important thing that happened this week.
We did. I'm glad. Yeah. Wow. I will never ever underestimate Robert Braindon, as he is a fantastic player. And now, we spoiler alert, 3-time Tornado champion defeating Sean Loeb in pretty close to a squash match, I would say.
I believe the runtime of that match was 1 minute and 11.5 seconds.
Was it that close? The whole stream entirely was very, very quickly. That's how you have to put down the collector Sean Loeb when he's running something like the Immortal Brick Brothers. And one of the interesting things when that match started, and to spend a quick moment on it before we wrap it up, Sean Loeb took the opportunity to make his 20 into a 22. Obviously, this was a good strategic call because it shuts off part of the gimmick, if I'm not mistaken, right? If your opponent rolls 20, or is it highest skill? Because in either case, if he had 2 20s, then it would give a double trigger to the corner office. And if he had a 22, it would only do 1 or 0. So I got to look up those gimmicks there. I don't know. I still think I go with 2 20s because the odds of you still winning the turn roll is still very, very high. But if you watch the match, it didn't even make a difference. I was thinking, oh, here we go. He's got a 20 finish roll. He's going to get killed on that 18 to a 20. And I think it was like 10, 16, 16. So it didn't even play a role. So Robert Braindon, your 3-time Tornado champion. Unreal. I think all what characters that he's been on, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely been Brain Power. Is it Brain Power twice?
Yeah.
I think that is correct.
I have to face both Brain Power and Gray Matter because Robbie G apparently only builds tornadoes that brains on. So I have to face him a lot.
Guy. All right. Let's see. Let's say bye, man, for now, if there's anything else, because Sage has got the heat on like 112 right now. Apparently, my face feels like it's gonna peel off. So
it's her magic.
Bye, man.
Folks, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Talk of the Universe. We will see you tomorrow for Expanding the Universe,
where I will be on and commanding that cards be made that I haven't paid for.
Sounds good.
Oh no, I gotta work.